Mrs. Collins. I'm so sorry to intrude, but I wondered if I might have a word with Mrs. Brown.
My daughter's in the kitchen. I'll call her.
Oh, no, please don't. It's of no great consequence. I just wondered if she might know where that special mixture is that Mr. Brown makes up for the Colonel, that's all. And he may be in this evening, and I don't seem to be able to lay my hand on it.
I see. Well, I shall go and fetch her, shall I?
Oh, no, please don't.
Oh.
The Colonel's very obliging. I'm sure he won't in the least mind having some other mix, just for once.
Well, if you really think. And she is making queen cakes. You know what queen cakes are, Miss Tasker.
Quite. And Mr. Brown may be back before the Colonel calls.
Yes.
The last time he went to Eastbourne, he was back quite early, if you remember.
That was, let me see, a fortnight ago last Tuesday, wasn't it?
A fortnight last Tuesday, yes.
That's it. A fortnight last Tuesday. And once the week before that, if I remember rightly.
His auntie having taken one of her turns for the worse. It's amazing, really, how quickly she recovers from one of her turns, isn't it?
And after
She must have a quite remarkable constitution when you come to think.
And after being bedridden for 15 years, what's more.
Really, though one scarce likes to say it, it would be almost a mercy, if you know what I mean.
Well, she certainly can't be getting much out of life.
Mr. Brown must be a great comfort to her, popping over every now and then.
Yes, I suppose he must.
And not just for an hour or so. Makes a real visit of it. Stays the night and comes back the next day.
Oh, yes. Mr. Brown always stays the night when he goes to Eastbourne.
Oh, well. Don't you find the light tries your eyes, Mrs. Collins? This is such a very dark room, don't you find?
Gloomy is my word for it, Miss Tasker. I certainly couldn't live in it for always, no. But I just wanted to read about the hanging.
Oh, the...
George Wainwright, the Seven Oaks murderer. Well, it says here they hanged him this morning at Pentonville.
Oh, I don't think I...
Oh, you must have read about it, surely. Dreadful man. Kept a grocer shop. All very respectable. And seemed as devoted as he could be to his wife. But every now and then, he'd go away for a day or two.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. Wasn't it to visit his grandmother in Dover?
Who was supposed to be ill. And then, if you please, his poor wife finds out, well, he hasn't even got a grandmother, ill or well.
Wasn't it a lady friend he was visiting all the time?
His fancy woman. But when his wife taxes him with it, well, he makes no more ado but snatches up a length of rope and strangles her on the spot. Strangles her, if you please.
Dreadful! You'd wonder how any man could.
Good business, mind you. Loving wife, respected by everybody. But behind it all, hidden away in the dark, a vile, cruel beast.
Hanging's too good, that's what I say.
Yes.
And to think, there may be others like him in the world.
Well,
Yes, it may be, Mrs. Collins. I might pass one in the street, or someone with tobacco over the counter. You never know, do you?
No, that's just what I was thinking, Miss Tasker. You never know.
What I say is, Mrs. Collins, any woman who trusts any man these days is a fool. Oh, not that there was anything wrong with Mr. Collins, I'm quite sure.
Well, I'll give him his due. He never tried to strangle me.
But as for most of them, well, working in a tobacconist shop, I come into contact, and I'm sure that most of them couldn't ask for half an ounce of twist without making you go hot all over. And the way they look at you, and try and touch your hand when you give them their change.
Disgusting,
Oh, yes.
disgusting.
Do you know, just the other evening, this very flash-looking man came in, the sporting type, you know.
Oh, yes.
And he had the impudence to say, "And what are you doing tonight, miss?" And when I said, quick as a flash, going to bed, well, he made a remark which I just couldn't repeat.
Dreadful, dreadful.
Quite uncalled for, as I told him to his face. I'd better go back and make sure the shop hasn't run away. Oh, and don't worry, Mrs. Brown, about the Colonel's mixture. I'm sure that Mr. Brown will be back very soon. You'd think he'd find the journey dull, wouldn't you? Doing it so often.
Yes, he certainly does the journey very often.
Oh, there, a customer. Excuse me.
There, thank goodness that's done. And what's more, turned out light as a feather.
Oh, I'm glad. Tricky things, queen cakes. I'm never quite sure if they're worth the trouble myself.
Arthur likes them, and he never seems to have much of an appetite when he returns home from Eastbourne. He has to be tempted.
I thought that was your best dress, Jenny. Have you taken it for weekdays now?
Not really. I just thought I'd put it on for when Arthur gets home. His trips to Eastbourne seem to be pressing somehow. Takes him quite a day or so to get back to his usual self.
No.
The last time, he just sat there all evening and scarcely uttered a word. If it had been anybody but Arthur, I'd have said he'd got something on his mind.
And of course Arthur could never have anything on his mind.
Not without me knowing. After all, I can hardly expect him to come home as merry as a lark when he's been sitting for hours and hours with a bedridden invalid. It wouldn't be natural.
No, dear. I wonder he never takes you with him to visit his auntie. Seeing that she's so mortal fond of her nephew, you'd think she'd be anxious to meet his wife, wouldn't you?
He'd have taken me long ago. But meeting strangers is bad for her. It excites her.
Oh, I thought after 15 years in bed she'd have welcomed a little excitement.
Arthur says not. Now, let me see. Oh, yes, the flowers. That's a good one of him, isn't it? It's the one we had taken on our honeymoon just over a year ago.
I don't suppose you know exactly what time you'll be back, Jenny.
Not exactly, but he'll not be long now, I'm sure.
I was thinking, I'd like to get back to Clapham before dark if I could.
Because of Mella and Fred are calling to take you home, Mother. They'll be here in plenty of time for that.
Well, if they come down for the day. Well, so long as I can catch the 6:50, 7:40 is far too late.
You'll catch the 6:50, all right? You've no distance to walk. With the station just down the street, this place is very convenient.
It may be. Though I may as well say it as think it. This house would never suit me. No, thank you.
Why, I think it's a very good house, Mother.
I'm not saying it isn't well built.
Well, what's wrong with it, then?
I don't know. It gives me a sort of feeling.
Feeling?
As though I was all cut off and miles away from anywhere.
That's silly, Mother, while we're right in the very busiest part of town.
Dare say, all the same, the other evening when the shop door was bolted and barred and we were sitting here in this room, I felt as if I was on top of a mountain or in the middle of a wood. Didn't like the feeling. I didn't like it at all.
I remember thinking how cosy it was, just the two of us.
I'd rather wait for that sort of coziness till I'm dead. You've plenty of that in the grave, I reckon.
Oh, Mother, what a thing to say.
Well, for one thing, Jenny, well, you can't say it's ever really light in this room, now can you?
Well, that's because it overlooks the yard wall. And even if it is a bit dark, it keeps it private.
Certainly does. So private, anything could happen. You could scream your head off and there wouldn't be a soul to see or hear.
Good heavens, Mother. Why, you're talking as if I was going to be murdered. Really, I can't think what's come over you.
Nothing's come over me. I was just saying, Jenny, well, this isn't the sort of house I had chosen for you. I'd had my way.
Well, it happens to be the place where Arthur has his tobacconist business. And a very good business it is too, I may say. Why, he's worked it a wonder since we came here. Another year or so and it'll be a proper little gold mine.
Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it?
The fact is, you don't like Arthur very much, do you, Mother?
I've never said I didn't like him.
You don't have to. Every time his name's mentioned, you close up.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, yes, you do. And it isn't fair to him. There are a lot worse men in the world than Arthur, you know.
I dare say. But when I married your father, it wasn't because there was lots worse. It's because there were few better.
But you've got nothing definite against him.
Not that I know of.
Very well, then.
Except except he's old enough to be your father.
The fact is, Mother, you'd set your heart on me marrying Fred Whitworth, and you've never got over your disappointment.
Fred Whitworth is a good, steady fellow, and I like him.
Well, so do I, if it comes to that.
And he was wild about you. And what's more, you could have had him too, if you had never gone off to that holiday in Scarborough.
I met Arthur. I dare say you're right, Mother, but you see, I did go to Scarborough, and I did meet Arthur, and neither Fred Whitworth nor any other man mattered anymore.
Your cousin Bella was quick to seize her chance. She'd always wanted Fred, and now she's got him. Have I told you they're engaged?
Yes, Mother. You've told me exactly 4 times since you arrived yesterday, and I hope that they will both be as happy as I am with Arthur, and that's saying a lot.
Oh well, you've no one to please but yourself, I suppose.
I'd like to think that you were pleased for me too, Mother. It hurts me sometimes to think that you don't really like him.
I've got nothing against him.
But the trouble is, you don't try to understand him.
Are you so sure you understand him yourself?
Of course I do.
You really feel you know him, as well as one person can ever know another. There's no part of his life that's hidden from you. Do you ever wonder?
What should I wonder?
Just who he is and what he is.
He's Arthur Brown, tobacconist, who married Jenny Collins of Clapham, who trusts and loves him, Mother. That's who he is.
All right, Jenny. We'll say no more about it.
Oh, yes, we will. We'll have this out right now, if you don't mind.
And look, Jenny, I don't want you and me to quarrel.
We're not going to. Next to Arthur, you mean more to me than anyone else in the world. You know that.
It isn't that I don't want to like him, dear.
I know that very well.
It's just that, well, somehow, I don't quite, well, you know, get him.
Get him?
Let me try to tell you, Jenny. It always seems as though part of him's in shadow. Yes, that's the word, shadow.
You know, Mother, this is all imagination.
Jenny, why does he have to keep making those mysterious trips to Eastbourne?
There's nothing mysterious about it. It's to visit his sick aunt, as you well know.
Even on your honeymoon, you had to come back 2 days early because he must see his auntie.
She couldn't help being taken ill.
And why? Why, when he does come back, must he have that haggard, nightmare look about him, as though he's been keeping company with ghosts or devils? The last time he walked through that door, I hardly knew him. I didn't, really. His face, all drawn. And he couldn't look at you when he spoke. Not till he poured himself half a glass of neat whiskey and drunk it down. What had he been up to get in that state?
If you must know, he sat up all night with his sick aunt to give the nurse a rest. And he's very kind. He always brings me back a present, always.
Conscience money.
Mother!
I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
No, I don't think you should. I've told you once, Mother, I trust him.
So did she, till she found out and it was too late.
Look here, Mother. You've got some queer fancy in your head. What is it? I want to know.
I've told you. Nothing.
What are you reading? Wife strangler pays the penalty. Wainwright home this morning. Why don't you want to read such horrors?
Well, don't you?
I glanced at the case, but I couldn't bear it. It was horrible.
You just glanced. I found these in this drawer this morning when I was searching for Uncle Edwin's photo. Someone in this house is very interested in the Sevenoaks murder, it seems.
What have you got there?
The Sevenoaks murder trial. Wainwright gives evidence. Grueling cross-examination.
Why, Arthur must have cut them out.
Neighbours describe Wainwright as mystery man. Wainwright's explanation of trips to sick relative exposed as pack of lies. Wainwright found guilty. Judge says, you willfully deceived a wife who loved and trusted you, and when she discovered your true character, you butchered her in cold blood.
Don't! So that's what you think? That Arthur? And that man? Arthur who wouldn't hurt a fly?
Witness described Wainwright as most tender-hearted man he ever met.
Give me those at once. You should be ashamed, Mother, to harbour such wicked thoughts. Are you ashamed? Downright ashamed?
I'm sorry, Jenny, but
To dare to He's my husband, you know.
Oh, that dog!
Reggie! Reggie, be quiet! He barks like that sometimes when his master's away. And when he hears Arthur coming up the street, out of all the other footsteps, he'll recognise his masters and bark. Reggie! Be quiet! He's heard me wagging his tail. Good dog! Master won't be long now. Good dog!
Excuse me, Mrs. Brown. There's a young lady and a gentleman to see you. A Mr. Whitworth and a Miss Crewe.
Fred and Bella. Well, I never. They've arrived.
Tell them to come in, will you, please?
Very well.
Well, at least you'll have company after all.
Now listen, Jenny. Don't let them see there's been an upset. You know what Bella is.
Do I look... Fred.
Why, Fred and Bella, this is nice.
Hello, Auntie Grace. How are you?
dear. Hello.
We've had a lovely day. Oh, hello, Jenny. How are you? Let me look at you. My dear, wherever did you get that dress? It makes you look ever so sallow. I've got a new one, pink and white with touches of black. Fred says I look like a licorice allsort. Isn't he rude? Darling, where are your manners? Come and say hello to Jenny here. Come on. You'll have heard about us, Jenny, I suppose.
Hi Jenny, everything all right?
Yes, thanks, Fred, and you?
Yes, thank you.
You'll have heard we're engaged, Jenny, a week ago today.
Yes, I hope you'll both be very happy.
We were sitting on the parlour sofa, and I was ever such a long time before I'd say yes. Wasn't I, Fred?
You were, yeah.
Oh, and I hear Berry Lomax is ever so cut up. And the Baxter boys. Oh, and a young man in our coal merchant's office who I've never even spoken to. Isn't it a scream?
And how's Arthur Jenny? Gone to Eastbourne again, have you?
Yes, he's very well, thanks.
Well, he wouldn't be very well if he was my husband and kept careering off to Eastbourne. So don't you go starting any invalid aunts, or I'll have something to say about it. Won't I, Aunt Grace?
Yes, I expect you would, Bella. But aren't you going to sit down?
Oh, we can't. We've got to catch the 6:50 back. If you're coming with us, you'll have to look sharp and get your things on.
Well, I really didn't want to leave until Arthur had arrived.
Of course you can, Mother. I'll be all right.
Of course she will. She isn't a child. Tell me, Jenny, doesn't being married to a man as old as Arthur make you feel awfully old yourself?
Arthur isn't exactly Methuselah, Bella.
Oh.
Mother, do hurry up. You'll never catch that train.
Are you sure you'll be...
I'll be quite all right.
Oh, can I come with you? I'd like to see upstairs. Oh, is this Arthur's photo? Oh, doesn't he look? Do you know what Sissy Parker calls him, Jenny? Dark brown. And how's dark brown, she says? The mystery man. Isn't this a gloomy room? Do you like it, Jenny? I don't. Fred and me are going to have one of this new house in Belvedere Terrace, aren't we, Fred?
That all depends on the rent, my lady.
The rent's your business, and I do want a house with no windows.
You'll be wanting one with a bathroom next.
What? Oh, where's Auntie Grace? Auntie Grace! Where are you, Auntie Grace?
I reckon Bella wasn't behind the door when tongues were given out, eh?
No. Sit down, Fred, do.
Thanks.
You're looking well, Fred?
I'm all right. I fancy you're looking a bit pale though, Jenny.
It must be the light. I'm feeling well enough.
Are you happy, Jenny?
Very happy, Fred.
Oh, that's all right then.
You must call out again sometime when Arthur's at home.
I will, yes. I only met him that once, you know, at the wedding.
He doesn't make friends easily. People think he's queer, sort of. But he isn't a bit really. It's just that he's very reserved.
Some men are like that, aren't they?
I don't suppose you'd recognise him if you saw him now, would you?
Matter of fact, I did see him one evening in London.
London? That must have been a good while ago.
No, it was the night of our office outing. Let me think. A fortnight last Tuesday.
It couldn't have been. Arthur was in Eastbourne a fortnight last Tuesday.
Oh, but it was him, I'm positive.
In London?
In Leicester Square. He didn't see me, but I passed right close to him.
Fred, are you sure?
Of course I am.
Oh,
Jenny? What's up? Are you well? Jenny, weeks now. I've been thinking. It wasn't a fortnight last Tuesday I was in London, it was 3 weeks. That was it, 3 weeks.
Oh, but it couldn't have been then either. For Arthur was here at home.
No, it couldn't, could it? I must have been mistaken. I only caught a glimpse, you know.
Are you sure it was 3 weeks ago?
I'm positive.
Silly.
It was silly of me, but
That's all right, Fred. Not that it really matters, of course.
mistakes will happen, eh?
Sit down again, do it, and let's talk about something else.
Thanks. Aha!
Ma's so old-fashioned, you know, you'd never believe. Anything a bit smart, she thinks fast. But, as I said to her yesterday, when I'm married, I'll do as I like. And if I want to wear my hair in Alexandra fringe, I will, and that's that. But Jenny, aren't these stairs narrow and dark? And do you really like that bedroom wallpaper? Help me for time, Fred.
We've none to waste. Here, I'll tell you that.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you so helpful, darling.
You sure you'll be all right, dear?
Of course.
Fred, your ties weren't all crooked. You do look a sight. Oh no, never mind it now. We'll miss the train. Come along, Auntie Grace. Goodbye, Jenny.
Goodbye, Jenny.
Goodbye, Fred.
Good heavens, Fred. What do you want to waste time shaking hands for? Anyone would think you were never going to see Jenny again. Come on. What shall I wear tonight? My moss green or my crushed strawberry?
I don't see it matters.
Of course it matters. Is this the way out? Of course it matters. Folks always stare so when the girls just got engaged. Oh, come along, Auntie Grace.
If I've been a silly woman, forgive me, Jenny. I'm so sorry.
You're the best mother in the world.
Goodbye, dear.
Why, you're as bad as Fred, thinking you might never be going to see me again.
Bye, dear. Bye, dear.
Goodbye, Mother.
Excuse me, Mrs. Brown, but there's a lady wanting to see you. Shall I?
But who is she?
Well, it's a funny sort of name. Foreign, I think. I think there's something a bit funny about the lady, too. I'm not altogether sure
Oh,
that...
you better tell her to come in.
Right. Would you come this way, please? And straight through.
You wanted to see me?
You are Mrs. Brown, the wife of Arthur Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Brown himself is not at home?
No, he's...
No matter. I happened to be passing nearby and had a sudden whim to see him. I have business to attend to in London and can stay but a moment, no more.
Did you want to see him particularly?
Well, an aunt should see her nephew from time to time, I fancy, eh?
Aunt, did you say?
By marriage on the mother's side. Nowadays, the poor boy's only relative.
Not from Eastbourne.
Eastbourne, certainly. I have been in residence there for many years. A very large house. But why do you stare at me like that? I must ask you not to, if you please. I don't like it at all.
But you've been ill, haven't you?
Now, how do such rumours get abroad? I resent them very much. Ill indeed. What next?
But Arthur's been to see you often, he has, hasn't he?
I receive neither my nephew nor anyone. I live in complete retirement, and such is my rule. We may correspond occasionally. His last letter, I believe, was to tell me of his marriage to you. A charming girl, he said. And so you may be, but you stare too much, and that isn't nice, you know. So very rude.
I'm sorry, but...
Good manners are the flowers by the wayside of life. The humblest may pause and gather. I myself was lady's maid for many years, to a very distinguished personage. More a friend than a maid, as she often remarked. We travelled abroad a great deal, In fact, I first met my husband by moonlight in Athens. Ill met by moonlight indeed. But you're still staring, I'm afraid. I'm beginning to regret this visit. It was impulsive of me.
Oh, no, don't go, please. The things I need to know about Arthur, my husband.
He is, I'm sure, a worthy man.
But you say he hasn't been to see you.
And my word can be accepted, I hope. I've told you, I receive no one save my counsellors and advisers, and then only at dead of night. Of course, it is entirely my own choice that I do not entertain more extensively. I have my permission to sit. The house is certainly big enough, with a pleasant garden, and very high walls. And I cannot entirely approve the bars on the windows. For a prison or a madhouse, yes. But for my house, I think not. You agree?
Yes, of course.
They give one a shut-in feeling. But all the same, let me see, when was it? Yesterday morning I gave them the slip. Down the back stairs, out the tradesman's entrance and off to the station. Back and teach my women to gossip in corners, eh? Neglecting their duties. They'll be running round now like frightened hens. What a very shadowy room this is. But perhaps you don't mind the shadows. Quite like them myself. Let me see. Who did you say you were?
Your nephew's wife.
Nonsense! I haven't got a nephew. I'm very much afraid, young woman, that you're an imposter.
You mean you're not Arthur Brown's aunt?
Arthur Brown? The name tastes like mud in the mouth. Do I look like the aunt of an Arthur Brown? Because if I do, then one thing is very clear. I must change my milliner at once.
But you came here to see Arthur, didn't you?
I did. Certainly not. Ridiculous. And what's more, I've other things on my mind. If I'm to claim my rights, I mustn't be idling here. By this time tomorrow, young woman, history will have been made. The whole thing is to be thrashed out tonight, after dinner, at the palace. She and I, woman to woman. Goodbye. I've decided to let her keep Balmoral. I should never survive those Highland drafts. But on every other point, I am adamant. What was that name you mentioned again? Arthur Brown. But of course, my nephew. My dear, you must forgive me, my memory, it comes and goes. And Arthur, how is he? I should like to have seen him.
Are you so sure you haven't seen him recently? Please try to remember.
Seen him? No. Tell him, if you please, that his aunt, the Princess Sophia Frederica Anastasia called. I wish you good evening.
Mrs. Brown, who was she? That lady who's just gone out.
I don't know.
There's something very funny about her. I couldn't make her out at all. And the way she's gone off down the street. I watched her. She was bowing to the left and to the right, just like royalty. If you ask me, the best place for her is a madhouse.
Yes.
I would never have let her up if I'd known. You're looking very wet.
I'm all right.
Well, Mr. Brown will be back soon, I'm sure. It's been a strange sort of evening altogether, really, hasn't it? Well, with her and every blessed customer going on about this Wainwright man. You'd think it's funny, really, how every now and then one particular murder seems to catch folks' fancy.
He deceived his wife, didn't he?
And when she did, he killed her. They say he suspected she might find out, and he carried a rope round in a little bag, just in case. What I say is, she should have carried a gun.
A gun?
Well, from what working in a tobacconist shop has taught me of men, I think if ever I was foolish enough to consider marrying one of them, I'd buy a half-foolish arsenal with part of my trousseau. Not that there may be some good ones about. Mr. Brown, for instance. And of course, the late Prince Albert. But 2 swallows don't make a summer, do they, Mrs. Brown? Oh, there's Mr. Brown now. Benji's heard him coming up the street. I'd better get back behind the counter before I get the sack.
Yeah? Go ahead. Jen? Oh, you're there, are you? I didn't see you at first. Well, I'm home. Back again, eh?
Yes, Arthur.
You're pleased to see me, Jen?
Aren't I always glad to see you? When you get back from Eastbourne?
That's right. Hey, what's up? A blooming iceberg, eh? Oh, you can do better than that too, I reckon. Still, it'll do to be going on with it. Where's your ma?
She went back early. With Cousin Bella and Fred Whitworth. They were down for the day.
Fred, the young chap who was sweet on you before I came on the scene, eh? How is he?
He's all right. He said he saw you in London. Fortnight last Tuesday.
Saw me? Well, he couldn't have, could he? I were in Eastbourne with Auntie.
That's what I said. Your hand's trembling, isn't it, Arthur?
I shouldn't wonder after being up all night. Why don't you sit down, Jen? You know, funny standing there like that. Oh, I was forgetting. I've got a little present for you. Aye, little present, Jen. Present from Eastbourne. There. Beads. Do you like them?
Thank you, Arthur. They're very nice.
Let me help you on with them, eh? No, no! What's the matter?
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to play a trick on me or something.
Yeah, trick.
You were silly of me. Give me the beads, Arthur. They're very nice.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Brown. I'll be going now.
All right, I'll look up after you.
Good night. Good night, Mrs. Brown.
Good night.
Any more news of your auntie?
Just about the same.
Just about the same. Oh dear.
Where are you going?
Lock up. Jen, what are you staring at me like that for? What's up? Is anything wrong?
I don't know.
You don't know? What on earth do you mean? There is something wrong, isn't there? Now look, Jen.
No, don't!
Jen?
Go over there by the window!
What?
I'll not touch another word on it till you do as I say!
All right. All right then. All right. All right. Shut up, Benji! Will you stop that row? Shut up! Now then, what seems to be the trouble? What's riled you? Is it your mother been making trouble? Well, that Fred, what's his name, who pretended he saw me in London when I was God knows how many miles away.
Are you so sure he didn't see you?
Don't talk so daft, Jen. I can't be at two places at once.
Some folk can.
Hey? Now look, Jen, what are you getting at, eh?
Your auntie, she could be bedridden in Eastbourne and be here at the same time. Here, in this room, sitting in that chair. Your auntie, with a madhouse, Eastbourne. Yeah, you can't think of anything to say to me now, can you? You always regretted when this moment might happen. I know.
She's been here?
Even the best lies and deceivers get found out sometimes.
I knew she were missing. I got this yesterday. Well, there's naught for it, I suppose, what to tell you. She was always a bit sort of queer, so they say. Big ideas. Big ideas. She took a job as a maid to a titled lady who took a bit of a fancy to her, educated her up a bit and took her about. Then she married this foreign chap. Sure. Well, he was no good, if it made it worse. Queerer than ever. She got so she had to be put away.
It wasn't part of her queerness when she said she hadn't set eyes on you for years, was it?
No.
Was it?
No, Jen, no. Oh, I knew this sort of thing would happen. I would have given anything not to have gone away this time.
I dare say you would, after tricking me into marrying you.
Oh, no, I played no tricks. I courted you open and honest as I could.
It's not for nothing that they call you dark brown. It's just what you are. You come from somewhere up north. Nobody knows anything about you. Or your folks, if you have any. And you set yourself up as a respectable shopkeeper. And that's all right. But it isn't, is it? No. There's something wrong. Something not quite. And everybody, even my own mother can sense it. Everybody but me. And I'm foolish enough to marry you. And to trust you. Oh my God.
Jen, listen. Don't say any more, eh? Wait till tomorrow.
No, Arthur. We've got to have this out right now. I want to know now just what it is I'm tied to. This morning in London, they hanged a man like you.
Jen.
Just such a one as you. Wainwright, the strangler. Is it there in your bag, the rope?
I told you to shut up. I meant it, do you hear? Shut up.
I'm not afraid of you, Arthur. I won't let myself be.
Let's have no more of this play actress talk of ropes and such. I loved you and I married you. And I treated you decent. I mean, what more do you want?
The truth. You've told me lies and I want to know the truth. I've got to know the truth now.
All right. All right. I've lied to you because I had to. Now will you just just let it go at that, and say no more.
No. Where did you go to yesterday? And all those other times, where did you go where?
On business,
Your business is out there in that shop.
a sideline, something you know nothing about. Jane, please don't ask any more.
Sideline? No, Arthur, I've got to know now.
My father, he was a shoemaker up north, but he was something else too. He had the sideline. I was brought up to think of it as, well, just a job to be done. But now, since we've been married, it's begun to get me down, and when I decided I couldn't go on with it, so I chucked it. I chucked it. Today was the last time. There would have been no more trips to Eastbourne, Jen.
You're talking riddles. Trying to trick me. Just what is this sideline?
I told you, just a job that has to be done.
But something you couldn't tell me.
No, I couldn't.
Something that, if I'd have known, I'd have never married you.
Perhaps not. I don't know. God's sake. Listen, Jen, listen. Whatever I've done or been, it's over and finished. Can't you be satisfied with that? I've done you no harm. I give you my word.
Your word? His way was best, Wainwright. He killed quickly with a rope, not slowly with words.
Will you stop going on about him? I told you to shut up, didn't I? You drive me mad. But I won't have it, do you hear? I won't have it, Daniel. I won't. Yeah. Take these and go back to your mother. We're finished. I'll send the rest of your things on. I'll see you're all right for money. Go now.
Arthur, what?
I hanged George Wainwright. Now, do you understand?
You?
This morning, before it was quite light, at Pentonville, I hanged him.
So that's what...
I told you, didn't I? A sideline. Sideline. A job that someone's got to do. First my father and then... So now you know. And I reckon you better get your things and go to your mother. You couldn't possibly stay with me now. Well, why don't you take your coat and go?
I don't know. I don't know.
Jen. You don't think... I mean, you don't mean that...
It's funny. But all at once everything's gone quiet and still. I can even hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. I shall stay here, Arthur. This is my home.
Oh, Jen.
No, Arthur. One day, perhaps. But not yet. Not just yet.